I divorced my first wife, but this is for you to know. The world believes divorce is an ending, a collapse, a shame. But for me, it was the beginning of something I had never dared to imagine: freedom to love you. My first marriage was arranged, a duty sealed in tradition, a union made not with my heart, but with signatures and ceremonies. Everyone applauded, yet I felt like a prisoner. Have you ever smiled in a room full of people, while your soul was quietly dying? That was me. And when I saw you, for the first time, I realized how cruel it is to live a lifetime without love. This truth is confession is the reason I chose to end what the world called sacred, because to me, you were the only thing truly sacred. Do you know what it feels like to sign your freedom with a pen? That divorce paper was not just ink, it was fire, burning away every chain that had suffocated me. Many people whisper, he left because he was selfish. But no one ever asks, what if he left because his heart finally learned to breathe? The truth is, I did not leave to be free, I left to be worthy of you. I could not imagine standing before you, asking for your hand, while still chained to a past I never chose. Tell me, how could I let you think you are second one to me? You are my first everything. My first wife was never my enemy, yet she was never my partner. We shared a house, but not a home. We shared meals, but not hearts. She deserved someone who could love her wholly, and I deserved to feel alive. That is why, when I met you, my world turned upside down. Every conversation with you became a mirror, showing me the lies I was living. You awakened a hunger in me, not for passion alone, but for truth. And so, the divorce was not betrayal, but an act of honesty. Still, I feared, would you see me as a broken man or as someone strong enough to break free for love? Sometimes at night, I ask myself, would you have still loved me if I had stayed in that marriage? That question haunts me like a shadow. Perhaps you would have smiled politely, but deep down, I know you would have walked away, because your soul craves authenticity, not half-hearted affection. That is why I left. I could not bear the thought of losing you to my own cowardice. So I chose courage, even though it meant facing storms, criticism, and disgrace. I chose you over comfort. And I would choose you again over kingdoms, over reputation, over everything. When the papers were finalized, I felt the silence of a palace hall echoing louder than drums. Empty, cold, yet strangely peaceful. You know what the first thing I thought of was? Not freedom. Not scandal. It was you. I whispered your name in the quiet of that moment, and it sounded like prayer. People say divorce is the death of love, but for me, it was the resurrection of it. And though the world may judge, I ask you, would you rather I live a lie, or die each day longing for the truth of us? Confession, there were nights when I almost gave up. Nights when I thought, maybe I should stay married, and bury my heart forever. But then, I remembered your eyes. The way they looked at me, not as a prince, not as a man bound by duty, but as a human being capable of love. That look saved me. It was more powerful than royal decrees, stronger than tradition, louder than the voices of those who said, stay where you are. I left, because for once, I wanted to live for that look for us. I know what people say. He left his wife for another woman. They paint me as cruel, as reckless, as dishonorable. But here is the truth: he did not leave because of you. I left because of me. Because for years, I lived as a ghost in my own skin. You did not break my marriage. You awakened my soul. And once the soul wakes up, it cannot go back to sleep. Do you understand, my love? You were not the reason for my divorce, you were the reason for my rebirth. The hardest part was telling her. Looking into the eyes of someone who did nothing wrong, and still saying, I cannot stay. It was like cutting a thread that held two lives together, only to watch both drift into unknown waters. I carried guilt, heavy as stone. But guilt is not the same as love. And no matter how much I tried, I could not give her what I had already given you: my heart, my loyalty, my soul. Some truths hurt, but they set us free. Have you ever wondered if love is selfish? I do. Because in choosing you, I chose against expectations, against tradition, against the perfect prince image everyone wanted. Maybe that makes me selfish. But if selfishness means holding your hand without shame, then yes, I'm guilty. And I would be guilty 1,000 times over. Tell me, my love, is it selfish to chase the only thing that makes life worth living? Or is it the bravest thing I have ever done? A palace walls used to feel like protection. Now I know they were a prison. My first marriage was one of those walls painted beautifully, decorated in gold, but lifeless inside. You tore through. Sometimes I ask myself, would you still trust me after this? A man who could walk away from a vow not worthy of your vow. That lingers. But then I realize, it is not the leaving that defines me, it is the reason why. I left dishonesty to live in truth. I left emptiness to embrace fullness. And if that makes me unworthy, then I would rather live unworthy with you, than honored without you. So here I stand, confessing to you not just that I divorced my first wife, but why? Because you deserve the whole truth. Because I cannot build our love on half stories and hidden shadows. I want you to know, every page I tore away from the past was so I could write a new chapter with you as my beginning, middle, and end. This isn't just confession. It's my vow. I divorced my first wife, but this is for you to know, I would burn down every palace, every crown, every title, if it meant keeping you. You are not my second choice, you are my only choice. I remember the night I signed those papers. Silence echoed louder than thunder. My hand trembled, not from regret, but from the weight of ending a chapter I once thought was forever. People whispered that I was cold, that I walked away too easily. But they never knew the truth. I had already walked away in my heart long before. Yet, when I looked into the mirror that night, I asked myself, am I a man capable of giving love again? Or have I broken something inside me that can never be repaired? And then, like destiny's cruel trick, you appeared. You weren't searching for me, and I wasn't searching for you. But the universe has a way of weaving stories we never dare to write ourselves. Every word you spoke felt like poetry I had forgotten how to read. Every glance from you carried a question: was I ready to let someone heal me? Or was I about to wound another heart with scars that weren't hers to carry? I feared confessing my truth. How could I tell you that I carried the ghost of another marriage? How could I tell you that love, for me, had been both a battlefield and a graveyard? Yet every time I tried to hide, you saw through me. You saw the cracks I covered with silence. You touched the shadows I never let anyone touch. And you asked me not with words, but with your eyes, can you still love? That question haunted me. I replayed it over and over in the lonely corridors of the palace. Could I love again? Could I give you the kind of love that was pure, unshaken, untouched by the ashes of my past? I had divorced my first wife. But divorce does not just end a marriage, it changes a man. It redefines what trust means, what loyalty costs, what forever demands. And yet, when I looked at you, I dared to dream again. There's something about you that terrifies me. You make me want to be vulnerable. You make me want to strip away the armor I have worn for years. But vulnerability is dangerous for a man who has lived through betrayal. My first marriage taught me that love can be fragile, fleeting, and cruel. But you made me wonder if maybe love is also eternal, fierce, and forgiving. Could you be the one to prove my fears wrong? When I hold your hand, I feel the weight of promises I've never spoken aloud. I want to tell you everything: the mistakes I made, the pain I endured, the nights I wept behind closed doors. But I hesitate, because what if my truth scares you away? What if you see me not as the man you love, but as the man who failed before? That is the fear I carry every time I whisper your name into the silence of the night. But love, true love, demands honesty. And so, I tell you this, I divorced my first wife. But that divorce was not the end of me, it was the beginning. The beginning of a man who has learned what not to take for granted. The beginning of a man who understands that forever isn't just about grand gestures, it's about staying when it's hardest to stay. And now, standing before you, I promise if you let me, I will never let go. Still, I ask myself, will you forgive me for the past I carry? Will you believe that the man who failed once can rise again? My heart pounds with these questions, because loving you feels like both a risk and salvation. Sometimes I wonder, did fate bring you to me to heal me, or to test me? And if it is a test, I pray to pass it with every breath I take in your name. I know people will talk. They will say, he couldn't keep his first marriage, how will he keep another? They will say I am reckless, unworthy, destined to repeat his story. But let them talk. Let the world whisper. Because the only truth that matters to me is the one that lies in your eyes. You are not my second chance, you are my only chance. And if I fail with you, then I fail forever. There is a moment, every night before I sleep, when I imagine a future with you. I see us walking through gardens hand in hand. I hear our laughter echoing in empty halls that once knew only silence. I see children running with your smile painted on their faces. And I wonder, will these stir? So tonight, I bare my soul to you. I confess, not as a prince, not as a man wrapped in titles, but as a flawed soul who has known failure and longs for redemption. I tell you this, yes, I divorced my first wife. But this love with you is not about running from the past. It is about building a future. A future that begins with you, and only you. And if ever you doubt me, if ever fear whispers in your heart, remember this: he chose you after I had lost everything. I chose you not because I was broken, but because you are the only one who makes me whole. My past may carry scars, but my love for you carries eternity. And now, with trembling hands, and an unshaken vow, I say it once more, I divorced my first wife, but this is you to know you are the last love of my life, and the only one I will ever fight for.